welcome back. I'm a tiny bit sick today, a little bit better than yesterday, thank God, but hopefully my throat holds up. I'm gonna do my best. So, what is the latest on my end? I just submitted for my revision deadline of Son of Embers, which, if you missed the last video or if you're new, Son of Embers is my second contribution to the Blood of Kings Legends collection, not to be confused with Heir of Light, my first book in the Blood of Kings Legends collection. If you like Pirates of the Caribbean vibes, National Treasure, a bit of second chance romance, redeemed thieves, and like a dash of Aladdin aesthetic, you might like Heir of Light. And this is me giving you permission to treat yourself for Christmas, if you needed that. This book is like kind of a conglomeration of a few different dreams of mine. For one, I really wanted to write a heist story. Like, I've just wanted to write a heist story forever. But the other dream it allowed me to accomplish, which was a dream I didn't know I had until I was like knee deep in it, was to create a female lead who just broke as many rules of medieval times as possible. Seth was the result of that little dream, and now she's my spirit animal, so I hope that everybody loves her as much as I do. That's Heir of Light, and I don't know if it would fit in a stocking, depending on how large your foot is, but you can have a go. For now, though, let's talk about the topic that is really on my mind, and that is, what do you do when you need to write, you don't have the choice, but just the inspiration is not there? Let me paint a picture for you. You are facing a deadline. Maybe it's a week away, maybe it's less than a week away. You are running out of time. You have one last big edit to make. You saved it for last because you wanted to knock the other things off the list. You have a plan. You know exactly what needs to happen, but when you sit down to write it, nothing comes. That experience of writing through the ick of having to force an edit is still something I'm trying to figure out what to do with. Because sometimes I still struggle to know whether that means I'm on the wrong track and I need to go back to the drawing board, or does it just mean I'm tired, or that maybe just the pressure of the deadline is kind of suppressing that. I would love to tell you that I have an answer. I do not. However, I've been in that situation enough times now that I've identified some patterns in my own process. Maybe they'll be helpful to you, so I'm just gonna throw them out there. If they're not helpful, apologies in advance. You can just, I don't know, laugh at mine. The first thing I have noticed is that externally processing is my best friend. So when I am in that space where something is not working, where I'm really, really stuck, the worst thing that I can do is just sit on my frustration and try and wrestle through it by force of will. Almost always the solutions and the breakthroughs happen when I find someone who will just sit and listen to me externally process, work through the problem, and ideally someone who will actually actively listen and bounce ideas back. Shout out to Liv and to Jay for helping me with this last huge problem. If this solution works, I owe it to you. Number two thing that I am coming to terms with, and brace yourselves because this is not maybe what you want to hear. When a pursuit moves from a hobby into maybe more of a career with actual expectations, with deadlines and timelines, it can just naturally diminish or suppress a bit of that creative energy that we have when we're just young people writing for ourselves, or just, you know, hobby writers that have all this passion and all this time and don't want to do anything but write. I remember what that was like. I kind of miss that sometimes, but that hasn't been my experience for a while, actually. And I think that that is something just natural that happens when there aren't any restrictions on your work. I think it opens up the brain in a way. And when there are some deadlines, some pressures on that work, some very real expectations from external sources, I think it's just really natural and inevitable that something kind of shifts in the brain. And that pressure might create some roadblocks, or like block off some creative avenues that maybe we had access to before. That's not necessarily a horrible thing, and I'm not saying that to discourage you. I think we just need to be prepared for the reality that at some point, that creative flow and inspiration that has carried us along on pure momentum for so long might actually shut off or flicker out for a bit. And then what do we do then? Well, we might just have to push through in the same way that we do with a school assignment or something at work. You don't have the option of just sitting around and waiting for the muse to be upon you. You might have to take the bull by the horns or take the steering wheel yourself. And that is kind of how I think of it. I think of it almost like the difference between flying on autopilot and flying manually. When I'm being carried along by that really powerful flow of creative inspiration, by that spark, I'm not putting all that much thought into the mechanics of what I'm doing when I'm writing, because I'm just being carried along. But when that's gone, suddenly I need to almost write manually, in the sense that I need to very actively, very intentionally be piecing words together, thinking about mechanics, because suddenly, like, it's only me doing that. There's no help, there's no momentum doing that for me. It's kind of cool in the sense that it really brings you back to the bare bones of your skill set. It's a reminder that, like, you are a skilled writer, you know what you're doing. It just might be slower, it might be more frustrating, it might be more of a slog. Sometimes we do just need to do that to just get the job done. The number 3 thing that I want to say is that sometimes when I am revising, I'll be really, really hard on myself because I'm trying to find the perfect solution. So if something feels too hard, I'm panicking, thinking, am I making it worse? What does this mean? And sometimes at the end of it, I'm like, oh my goodness, I just turned it into a hack job and now I need to Command Z a bajillion times and just go back to what I had because maybe that was better. Here's what I will say to that. I have learned not to underestimate the power of the polish pass. Usually when I get to the end of a revision, I feel icky like that. Then I'll do one pass just to round out the edges, smooth out the bumps, fix the inconsistencies that my edit might have created. And almost always at the end, I'm surprised by how cohesive it is and how much it actually works. It's okay to be like hard on yourself. It's okay to like want to make the story better. But if you have a solution that you put thought into and you're executing that solution, it's okay to follow through on that. See where it takes you, do a polish pass, and at the end of that, you might be surprised to find that that solution that you worked through and put thought into actually was, in fact, a solution, and what you have actually is better than what you had before. I've said this lots of times on the channel, but in general, just don't be too quick to panic. Polishing can make a huge difference. So that's my 2 cents on that. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it and that you got something useful out of it. And as always, don't forget to spend some time in the clouds today.